There are relationships that do not hurt you from the very beginning. They only change you little by little. You speak your truth less often. You become more careful with every word. You apologize more, even when many times you have done nothing wrong. You try to keep everything peaceful, but inside, you feel more and more tired. And at some point, you begin to ask yourself, am I staying because there is still peace here, or only because I am afraid to leave? Many people think walking away from someone is cold, selfish, or giving up. But that is not always true. There are moments when leaving does not mean you hate someone. It is how you stop losing yourself inside a relationship that is no longer healthy. You do not need to leave in anger. You do not need to make anyone regret anything. You only need to be honest enough to recognize when a place no longer helps you live with more lightness. Stoicism reminds us that not everything we love is something we should hold on to at any cost. There are things we cannot control, like how other people treat us, change, or value us. But we can choose how to protect our calm, our self-respect, and the person we truly are. In this video, we are going to look at the signs that it may be time to walk away. When being close to them always makes your heart feel heavier, when you have to change yourself just to keep the relationship, and when peace only returns when you create some distance. If you found this content helpful, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. This is a place where we learn together how to live with more calm, think more positively, and be kinder to ourselves each day. And the first sign is very simple. After being around them, do you feel lighter or heavier inside? The first sign that it may be time to walk away is this. After being around them, you do not feel lighter. You feel heavier inside. Maybe they do not do anything too extreme. They do not yell. They do not clearly create problems. And they may not say anything directly terrible. But after every conversation, your mind feels more confused. Your heart feels more tired. And it takes you a long time to feel calm again. Some people enter a conversation with a lot of blame, complaining, resentment, or coldness. You listen because you do not want to seem uncaring. You try to understand because you do not want to hurt them. But little by little, you realize that you are always the one carrying more of their emotions, while no one truly asks about yours. A healthy relationship does not mean everything is always happy. Everyone has tired days, sad days, and difficult days. But if every time you are around them, you have to rebuild your own energy, calm yourself down again, and pull yourself out of a heavy feeling, that is something you should not ignore. Walking away does not always begin with one clear decision. Sometimes, it begins by honestly asking yourself, is this relationship making me feel more peaceful, or is it making me more and more tired? And if the answer keeps repeating in the same direction, then maybe you need to look at the second sign. You are changing yourself just to keep the relationship. The second sign is when you realize that you have to change too much just to keep a relationship alive. You no longer speak honestly the way you used to. You choose every word very carefully because you are afraid they will get angry. You want to give feedback, but you stay silent. You feel sad, but you say you are okay. You apologize quickly, even though deep inside, you know you are not completely wrong. Small things like these may not hurt you right away, but over time, they make you feel as if you can no longer live as your true self. A healthy relationship should not require you to shrink your emotions just to be accepted. You can correct yourself when you are wrong. You can compromise when it is needed. But if you are always the only one who has to give in, the only one who has to understand, the only one who has to keep the peace, and the only one who has to avoid saying what is truly in your heart, then that relationship is taking away your peace and your real self. Maybe you still care about them. Maybe you still remember the good moments from before. But love should not turn you into someone who is always afraid, always careful, and always asking yourself how you need to behave so they will not be upset. When a relationship makes you lose your own voice, that is a sign worth looking at, honestly. Walking away in this situation does not mean denying everything that once existed. It simply means admitting that you cannot keep trading your peace and your real self just to keep a relationship that is making you more tired every day. And the next sign is even clearer. Your peace only returns when you begin to create some distance. The third sign is when you realize that you only feel lighter after creating some distance from them. When you do not talk for a few days, you sleep more easily. When you no longer have to guess their mood, your mind feels lighter. When you are not pulled into the same familiar blame or tension, you begin to feel as if you can breathe again. This is a very real sign, because sometimes your body and your mind recognize the problem before you are ready to admit it. You may still care. You may still feel regret. You may still tell yourself that things are not bad enough to walk away. But if every time you are away from them, you feel calmer, happier, and more like yourself, then maybe that distance is telling you something important. Creating distance is not always cold. Sometimes it is simply how you give yourself time to see everything more clearly. You do not need to walk away with bitterness or hurt. You also do not need to make everything into a big scene. You only need to stop putting yourself in a place that keeps making your heart feel unsafe. Then notice whether you truly feel lighter when you step away. If your peace only appears when they are no longer too close, that is not something you should ignore. Because a healthy relationship can have difficult moments, but it should not make you feel relieved only when you are not around them. And when you realize that, walking away is no longer an impulsive reaction. It can become a calm choice to keep yourself. In the end, walking away does not always mean you no longer care about someone. Sometimes it is the moment when you are clear enough to realize that staying is making you lose too much of yourself. You no longer feel light inside. You no longer feel free to be yourself. And your peace only returns when you begin to create some distance. You do not need to leave in anger, and you do not need to make anyone regret anything. What matters is that you are honest with yourself. Is this relationship helping me live better, or is it making me more and more tired? A mature person does not walk away to punish anyone. They walk away when they understand that their peace, their self-respect, and their true self also need to be protected. If you found this video helpful, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. This is a place where we learn together how to live with more calm, think more positively, and be kinder to ourselves each day. Before you leave, I want to ask you something. What sign made you realize that it was time to walk away from someone? Leave your thoughts below. I truly want to hear your perspective. See you in the next video.